morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Hey, listen, we're going to get right to it. Happy Sunday. Hope everybody has a blessed day. Thank y'all for tuning in. But we're going to get right to it. Hey, the NBA playoffs, we probably say this every year, but the NBA playoffs is pretty hot. I cannot complain. I watch as much as I can. It's been a lot of good basketball. Let's just think. We have two series that's knotted up at 2-2. All right? We got two more series that's knotted up, that's at 2-1, that could easily go 2-2 by the time the next game is played. You got one series, well, you got two series that two teams is on the brink of getting swept. That's Cleveland sweeping Indiana, and that's Golden State possibly sweeping Portland. But otherwise, that we're getting some fantastic games, fantastic finishes. It's just a lot to get into. But we're going to dive right into it. And we're going to start off with the first game yesterday. Toronto Raptors in hostile environment in Milwaukee. Looks like their length is just such a problem for them. But somehow or another, Toronto Raptors, and I guess them being the better team, has now made this series a best of three by going into Milwaukee yesterday and even it up. And you know, those who have followed me know my motto. Stars need to play like stars when stars need to be stars. And DeRozan was just that yesterday. He finished the game with 33 points. Kyle Lowry, who to me has been outplayed in this series, he stepped up in a big way. He had 18 points. But collectively, Toronto gets it done with a snoozer at that, 87-76. Giannis, who I'm labeling as going to be a top 3 to top 5 players in this game 2 years from today, he had a miserable shooting night. He was 6 for 19 to only account for 14 points. I mean, Milwaukee is not going to get it done when Tony Snell is leading your ball club with 19 points. That's just not going to do it. But I like what KC done. He went small. He brought Valanciunas off the bench, who, by the way, had 14 points off the bench. But he went small to try to match the speed and the quickness of it. And I've said this on this show before. Those who underestimate the job that Dwayne Casey has done for Toronto Raptors don't watch basketball, don't know basketball. This guy had to battle through injuries. He had a hole at the power forward spot. At the trade deadline, they acquired Ibaka, PJ Tucker, so he had to make some adjustments on the fly. And just as he acquired those assets, those players, Kyle Lowry went down. He hadn't played but the last 3 or 4 games of the regular season since the All-Star break. So to be in a position where he is, I have to give Dwayne Casey some credit for the job that he's done. But nevertheless, they go into Milwaukee, Game 4, they even up the series, they head home, Game 5 in Toronto, Game 6 back in Milwaukee, Game 7 at Toronto. So now it's a best 2 out of 3. So good job by Toronto. And this Milwaukee team, you know what? Don't hold your head down. You're just not quite there. You still have a chance to advance, but you're not quite there. But I'm going to tell you, the future is bright for this Milwaukee Bucks ball club. Maybe a little tweaking here and there. They'll figure it out. They'll get better down the road. No doubt in my mind. Giannis is going to be a problem for the league in the very near future. There's no doubt in my mind. We're going to move along to the second game that came down to Atlanta as Washington took the trip to Atlanta, up 2-0 in this series. And I guess the Hawks was not going to be denied. Pretty much dominated the whole game. I guess Millsap has read the press that he's being soft and he's a crybaby. He exploded for 29 points and 14 rebounds. And Schroeder, who has been playing very well, believe it or not, in this series, again, he had 27 points and 9 assists as he shined, as the Hawks secured a victory. Now they're down 2-1, looking at Game 4 in their house. But John Wall still is perhaps the best player on the court. He had 29 points in the losing effort. Bradley Beal was a little quiet. He only had 12. This comes off the heels of me saying that they're the best backcourt in the game. Thanks a lot, Bradley Beal. I need you to step up. But what a win it was for Atlanta, because Atlanta was looking like they were on the verge of being swept. The backcourt for Washington just seemed to be too much. And they were having their way. Having their way. And I even went as far as thinking that Coach Bud was being outcoached by Scott Brooks. I'm a firm believer of you have to play your assets and you have to play them to your style of game. You know, it's not like this is a team that can dominate Atlanta. Atlanta has never been a dominating team. I always question in this playoff series and so many games that I see Atlanta play why Dwight Howard is not in the game in the fourth quarter. He's your $24 million man. You don't bring him in to be your highest paid player, but also play him like a role player. You need to play this guy as if he is your Michael Jordan. I mean, he needs to get in there and dig in. Whether he's a liability at free throw shooting, or maybe you don't go to him in the paint to score, but at least he can rebound and stop some of that free way to the basket, or free will, or free lane, or whatever, just the freedom to run through there and lay it up, because he is a shot rearranger. It's not like he's just a clog at the basket. The guy can actually defend and rebound for you. If he doesn't give it to you in points, let him at least help you on the defensive end, which he is more than capable of doing. I mean, for crying out loud, Scott Brooks is not sitting Gortat. Gortat is playing in the fourth quarter. And once upon a time, Gortat and Dwight Howard was teammates as they went to the finals in Orlando. Went to the finals in Orlando. So he's on the court. That's reasons to put him on the court. But nevertheless, Atlanta came home, did what they needed to do in Game 3. They secured a victory. They're probably playing in 2-3 days from now. They need to go out there and get Game 4, net this up at 2-2. But right now, they still have their backs against the wall, because if John Wall and company does steal Game 4, it's a wrap in Game 5 back at the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. It's a wrap. And no doubt in my mind, I don't see them coming back from 3-1. I look for John Wall and Bradley Beal to close it out in front of their fans, as this Washington team is a tough team to beat. Otto Porter, he's been a top three-point shooter throughout. Kelly Oubre Jr., he's coming along as this defensive player, good role player coming off the bench. Marquise Morris is finding a groove. Gortat being Gortat. And then you have the backcourt that I think is the best in the game, and Beal and Wall. But, the last thing Atlanta wants to do is go back to the nation's capital down 3-1. I don't see no recovery coming from that at all. All right, so there was another game, and this is getting this series right here. When I saw that it was announced, I was like, San Antonio will breeze by Memphis. Memphis is a great regular season coach. A team, a great regular season team, always have been. Coming to the playoffs, they never seem like they can get past the next level. Well, that's not the team that I'm watching right now. Either San Antonio is playing to the level of their attention, level to their opponent, and not showing the dominance or the ability to show that they're the more superior team. And this one here, Grizzlies is netting it up. It's 2-2 after 4. I'm thinking a sweep. No. Memphis says, wait a minute. All you did, San Antonio, was what you were supposed to do. Win at home. Win at home. We're going to come home, do the same thing, and make this a best of 3. And put pressure on you to win Game 5 on your court. And I'm going to tell you something. By far, the best player in the playoffs right now is Kawhi Leonard, as he showed his dominance yesterday in overtime with 43 points, coming down there, doing what he needs to do, carrying his team on his back. I owe that young man an apology because I did not think he was a top 5 player coming into the league. I did not think he was a Batman. I thought he was forced to play a Batman role. I owe that young man an apology. He is a Batman. He is on the verge of being a top 5 player in this game if he isn't already. The problem with San Antonio is LaMarcus Aldridge. Where's his help? Tony Parker has to come back and show flashes of some of his brilliance early on in his career to score 22 points. Where is LaMarcus Aldridge? Where is his help? They acquired this guy 2 seasons ago to be the Robin, the heir apparent to Tim Duncan. And this guy's a no-show. A no-show. You telling me Marc Gasol is shutting him down? You telling me Zach Randolph is making it difficult for LaMarcus Aldridge? I got news for you. As brilliant and as beautiful that looked last night, seeing Kawhi Leonard score 43 points, hitting clutch 3-pointers after 3-pointers, playing defense, bringing it down the court, just doing what he wants. Guess what, folks? That's not the San Antonio Spurs way. They're not going to win like that. San Antonio is a team, and it's usually done by a collection of players that does it collectively. Where is his help? Where's his help? LaMarcus Aldridge, you was brought there for a reason. Where's his help? Paul Gasol, you can't ask the old man to do it. David Lee is doing his best. But LaMarcus Aldridge, you should be averaging 20 plus points a game along with this guy. Not Tony Parker. Whatever you get from Parker is a bonus. He shouldn't be second in line. LaMarcus Aldridge needs to show up in this series, or we're looking at one of the biggest upsets in NBA playoff history if Memphis was to go on and win this series. And oh, by the way, for all of those like myself who think that Mike Conley's contract is outrageous as he's getting 5 years for $150 million, well, I'll tell you what, Memphis can make a case that he is earning it because right now he's the second best player in this series as he's putting this team on his back. Last night, 34 points, 9 assists. What is he not doing? He's showing that he deserved the contract. He's making it. He's playing his best ball at the best time of the season, which is the playoffs. And oh, by the way, since Fizdale went on that rant talking about I'm not going to be rooked out here, he lit a spark on that team. He made a change in the lineup. He inserted Zach Randolph, and it's paying dividends. Between Zach and Marc Gasol, oh, by the way, Marc Gasol hit the game-winning shot in overtime last night. Where were you, LaMarcus Aldridge? It's not like he can beat you off the dribble and take you to the basket. Where were you? But ever since he put Zach Randolph in there, oh, it changed the whole momentum of the series. It gave Conley more passing option, gave him more ability for a one-on-one, which he's taking advantage of it. Because as I said, he's the second best player in this series. Both Gasol and Zach Randolph with double-doubles. Listen, if Memphis beats San Antonio in this first round, as much as I'm screaming on LaMarcus Aldridge right now, it's also on Popovich. Hey, Grizzlies is not a bad team, but they're not supposed to beat the Spurs in the first round. Plain and simple. They are not supposed to beat the Spurs in the first round. Kawhi Leonard cannot do it alone. He cannot do it alone. These guys need to wake up before it's too late. The final game, this is about too much Curry and Thompson when they needed it most. I mean, listen, this series right here is about what I said. Stars need to play like stars when stars need to be stars. And you're getting it from both teams. I mean, unfortunately, Portland backcourt, which is the top 5 backcourt in the game, cannot play no better. Cannot play no better. It's just that they're playing the number 1 seed, who's destined to go back to the finals for a 3rd straight trip. And without Durant, Golden State is still holding it down. When you're getting contribution from your bench, from Iguodala and JaVale McGee, both coming up, hitting double figures, that's just going to be too much. Because as you're concentrating on Curry and Clay, oh, by the way, they had 34 and 24, but when you're concentrating on them, you got other players that's doing it, and Draymond Green is still a threat, whether it's on the defensive side or the offensive side. He's a threat both ways. Probably one of the best two-way players in the game. At least top 3. I mean, you have Lillard and McCollum. They had 31 and 32 respectively. Evan Turner, surprisingly, he had 17. Aminu, he came off the bench for 14. But at the end of the day, it was not enough. As they go down 3-0 to the Golden State Warriors, as the Warriors win 119-113. Fun game to watch. This one here is a fun game to watch. Unfortunately for me, I did not watch the game because there's something that you don't know about me that I'm going to share with you in moments. I didn't watch the game. I saw some highlights, read up on it before I came out on the show. But at the end of the day, men, women lie, numbers don't. I think that was Jay-Z who said that. And the numbers show that Golden State 119, Portland 113. I don't see Portland winning a game in this series. They can't get much better from their backcourt, which is their bread and butter. I just don't see it happening. Maybe another close finish, but I don't see it happening. Guys, as I grew up as a young kid, baseball was always my first love. Towards my teenage years, basketball became my first love. My first love. I mean, literally, that's my love. Basketball. That's my favorite sport. I know more about it. When I was younger, I knew more about baseball, but basketball is what I know. Alright? When I was a kid, my dad and I would watch baseball games, but the biggest thrill that I had as a kid growing up when it came down to sports was trying to sit up at night and watch boxing with my dad. That was a special moment for me. Watching boxing with my dad. A lot of times I didn't make it through the bell. I mean, and when you're young like I was, getting up at 7, 8 o'clock, being outside from 9 to 9, and just getting into anything and everything and getting in a full day, it's hard to sleep. It's hard to stay up past 10:30 when you had a childhood like I had, whether it was playing basketball, baseball during the day, riding a bike, finishing it off with a little catch one, catch all around the block, that sort of thing. I had a full day. And to stay up and watch a fight with my dad on a Saturday night, and to be up past 10:30 is a little tough. So when boxing comes on, it takes me back to my childhood of staying up with my dad. Boxing supersedes everything as long as it's quality opponents, quality fights. And last night, like I said, I did not see the Golden State game because Showtime had some great boxing on last night, and it did not disappoint. Although a guy that I root for, Berto, as I was telling the guy on the job, Lenny, I don't know why I keep rooting for this guy. He keeps losing, but he can box, but he has noodles for legs. He has noodles for legs. And it showed again last night as Sean Porter kept the pressure on him and just knocked him around until he knocked him out, knocked him down several times. It's just, and when you look at him, he's got the physique of pain. He's got the skill sets, but his legs are toothpicks. They don't hold up. The minute he gets hit across the chin, he is down. And that's what happened yesterday. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. I've seen some great boxers in my time. The Muhammad Ali's, the Joe Frazier's, the Larry Holmes, the Mike Tyson, the Sugar Rays, the Marlon Haglers, the Tommy Hearns, the Floyd Mayweather. You name them, I seen them. I'd rather fight them than Sean Porter. And Sean Porter is not half as good as them. Sean Porter is the biggest pest in the ring that I ever seen. And he don't have the skill set. But what he is, he's like Dellavedova in basketball. He's just all over you. I mean, he don't give you room to breathe. This guy is just, he crowds you. He throws a bunch of punches. He's wild. He's not that good, but he don't let you set up. You know, one thing about great athletes, when they're facing another great athlete, they show a sign of respect. Because they know, okay, this guy's capable. Whether it's boxing, whether it's basketball, whatever it might be. They know that they're capable, so they show respect. Sean Porter don't show no respect for anybody. He crowds your space, and he just throws punches after punches after punches. It's not technique. It only works for him. And he's victorious. And Berto was just flustered, flabbergasted, frustrated. Any of those words would do. Until maybe he just gave up. He just said, yeah, you know what? I had enough of this. Berto gets knocked out. I believe it was the 5th round. To me, I respect the guy, Berto. Like I said, I root for him. But I think this is his retirement right here. Because he can't get another money fight. And at the end of the day, you're doing this for money. It's time for Berto to let it go. He don't have it. His legs are noodles. His legs are noodles. Good win for Sean Porter. I think this elevates him for a title match. I think it's actually a rematch with him and Keith Thurman. I believe so. But anyway, Keith Thurman was on hand, and you know Keith Thurman right now holds the belt, and which is a tough fighter. One-time Keith Thurman. But yeah, Sean Porter puts it on Berto. Just puts it on him. And then there was a championship fight, super welterweight, Charlo against Charles Hatley. And Charlo, let me tell you something. This guy's the future. He really is. He's got the skill set. He's got the length. He's got the power. He's got the quickness. Some people question his power because he was 28-0 going into this fight with only 13 knockouts. What I see about him, he's pretty patient. Last night, was the first time I saw him being as aggressive as he was. He's usually aggressive, but not this aggressive. And he just battered Charles Hatley around for, I think it was 4 rounds, maybe 3 rounds. He just battered him around until he put him out. And I got to give credit to Charles Hatley. He came out in the first round, and I said, oh, this might be interesting. This might be interesting. I believe he was in his hometown. I said, this might be interesting. But then Charlo figured him out. And before you know it, this one was over at the blink of an eye. He knocked him out through the ropes. When he went down, Hatley went down. He laid down there for some time. He didn't even get a count. The ref just stopped it immediately. I thought he was concussed. It looked like he had hit the camera of the cameraman, but maybe he might have glazed it. But at the end of the day, he was down, and he was down for a while. He needed some assistance to get up. He tried to say he was okay, but you know the egos of these boxers, they don't want to seem like they're embarrassed or whatever. Hey, listen, guys. There's no substitution in this sport. You talk about one-on-one. There's no bigger one-on-one than boxing. No bigger one-on-one. Yeah, there's no shame to it. These guys are in there to lace you, put you out. That's the name of the rules. That's the rules of the game. To put you out. If it happens, so be it. No big deal. You're not going to be the first or the last to get knocked down. That's the name of the game. In fact, that is what we paid to see. Are knockouts. No one wants to come to a fight and watch 12 rounds. Everybody wants to see a knockout. So there's no shame in it. It's part of the game. But nevertheless, Charlo, he showed too much. He was too much against Charles Hatley, although Hatley was game, but it didn't last too long. It did not last long. So good night of Showtime Boxing last night. Next week, you got my guy Anthony Joshua fighting Klitschko overseas for the heavyweight belt. I'm going with Joshua on that. I think Joshua is going to rule the heavyweight in time to come. I think that we might be looking at the next Lennox Lewis, England boxer, holding down the heavyweight division for a while. Although my guy out here in Alabama might have something to say about that. But I'm going with Anthony Joshua. And then the following weekend, you got the main event, which is Canelo and Chavez Jr. So we got some good boxing coming up. Started with last night. Next week and the week after. So you boxing fans, tune in with me. I'm going to be all over it like I shared with you. I love basketball, but if there's a good fight on, I'm watching that. That's what I'm doing. I'm watching that. I thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks for being with me. Jamel, you're right. San Antonio needs this series to keep the stars aligned. Yeah, San Antonio has to play like stars. They can't win this series if it's only Kawhi Leonard and Tony Parker. They need LaMarcus Aldridge to step up. He's being paid as a Batman, and he needs to play at least like a Robin. Right now, he's playing like Alfred. And you know the order. It's Batman, Robin, Batgirl, Commissioner Gordon, and then Alfred. If he becomes Chief O'Hara, then it's time to trade him. I see you guys in 24 hours. Peace and blessings. This is Ramel from Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat.